Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Panorama Consulting Group ERP Vendor Spotlight. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're highlighting ABAS ERP. My name is Chris DeVault. I'm Director of Industry Relations at Panorama, also manager within the Software Selection Group. Today, we have Alan Sullivan, President of ABAS USA, and Dave Carey, Pre-Sales Manager of ABAS USA as well. We do have a nice offer of free hour of consulting for the first few respondents to today's webinar, so please take advantage of that. In a brief overview of today's agenda, we're going to look at some recent trends from both the Panorama side and the ABAS side. Then we'll have a brief overview of the application itself. Just a little bit on Panorama Consulting. See here on the left-hand side are full lines of service, full management consulting group offerings. In the middle, we see the industries we focus on. And then on the right hand, just a little bit about our people, good, experienced, smart people on our team. This is a brief snapshot of some of our clients. We have a global outreach. We also have clients starting from startup and zero revenue all the way up to multi-billion, $20 billion plus clients. Our projects include many different ERP vendors from tier 1 to tier 2 providers. We also work with a lot of niche applications for CRM, supply chain management, and even workforce management. The purpose of today is to provide you some exposure to what we're seeing in the industry within manufacturing and also get some discovery information about ABAS USA. Quickly highlight some of the trends that Panorama is experiencing within our client base. We're certainly seeing a move to digital supply chains. Manufacturing organizations are using secure portals and blockchains for forecasting and collaboration, even procurement with their vendors and customers. AI, along with Internet of Things, we're seeing more practical usage here in combination with system workflow automation and business intelligence. Of course, the customer experience is a large focus by many of our clients and the vendors that we work with. We're seeing customers can not only be external, but also can be internal. We're seeing a move to a lot of B2B to B2C and e-commerce channels as being a high priority initiative within our manufacturing and distribution spaces. And of course, the organizations that are willing to streamline processes and adopt best practices where appropriate, they're all reducing risk, costs, and duration of ERP implementations. Change management is always a critical success factor. And now I'll turn it over to ABAS team, Alan and Dave.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate the introduction and the opportunity to work with Panorama. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk a little bit about the company and where we come from and where we're going. So ABAS ERP was founded in 1980, so we've got now 39 years of ERP software experience. We have two primary headquarters, one in Carlsbad, Germany, outside of Frankfurt, and the other in Sterling, Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. We have 4,200 customers currently with 150,000 users, primarily in metal fabrication, automotive, industrial machinery, electronics, and custom manufacturing, and pretty much any other discrete manufacturing segment. We are vendor direct. We do not use resellers or VARs, but when you work with ABAS, the support people, the development people, the sales people are all direct ABAS employees. We currently have 1,300 employees, including 85 in the US. We are available in 29 countries. We are multi-currency, multi-language. And we're part of the Fortero group of ERP companies. So currently there are now 9 ERP packages that are all grouped together where we can build synergies and share information, and we're all focused in the mid-market. ABAS is a very complete product. It does everything from CAD PLM integration for any number of CAD and PLM packages. We take that information, we use it to drive engineering. We have a whole lead to order and order to plan for everything from forecasting, CRM, marketing management, contract management, through the make, deliver, planning, scheduling, MPS, MRP, manufacturing, shop floor management, inventory management, supply chain, quality, all of your procurement and sourcing, your delivery, your service, your aftermarket. So OBIS includes both a repair module and a field service module. And then everything on the back end. So all of your financial accounting, multi-company accounting, fixed assets accounting, cost accounting is all supported within the standard part of the package, as well as BI, EDI, and document management. One of the things that makes us unique is OBIS was designed from the beginning to be flexible, so that through our multi-tiered architecture, there is a source code level, there's a database level, but there's also a tools level where we do any kind of modification or customization that a customer requires. When we do an update, we apply it below the tools level so that all the changes stay in place. As a result, what we see is from this tech consult study of 2014 is that the changes that our customers require take less investment and less days than it does with some of our other competitors. OBIS is also multi-platform in terms of deployment. So we have a full cloud product, we have an on-premise product, and we also have a standalone mobile product that allows our customers to work in a disconnected mode. We also are set for the Internet of Things. So over the last 4 or 5 years, we undertook the biggest development project in our history to rebuild our middleware to use RESTful services, so web-based APIs that allows us really to connect to any sensor, device, machine, system of any kind. This is some of our mobile applications. Again, we've tried to take anything that's done outside of the office, any kind of distributed function, and make it standalone mobile, including things like field service, warehouse management, and point of sale. One of the other hugely important things we've done over the last few years is built a deeply integrated business process management system, a graphical workflow that is deeply integrated in the system. I think Dave will give us a quick peek of this going forward. And over the next couple of years, these are the things that we really focus on: mobility and visibility of having real-time data available to any user anywhere, AI, machine learning, and everything as a service as part of our new cloud deployment, connectivity and standards, improved user experience, and collaboration and contextualization. So I'm going to wrap that up now, and then we'll take a look at the package, and I think you'll have an opportunity to see some of the things we've discussed.
Thank you, Alan. Good day, everyone. My name is Dave Carey, and I'd like to share with you some useful features of OBIS ERP that will help you better manage your business. First, let's take a look at the standard user interface. This is our standard on-premise interface. It comes with a standard set of easy-to-use menus for all the key functions and features that you'll need to run your business. An individual user or an organization can easily edit the menus to better suit your particular business needs. This is the standard on-premise interface. We also offer a full web version so that users can access the system anywhere that they have an internet connection instead of worrying about remote logins. Both OBIS systems provide a full suite of dashboards to display relevant business information, such as key performance indicators that are important to you as an organization. Very simple to change or to find any of the dashboards that are set up in the system for you. Another commonly used dashboard would be customer information. To see, for example, a pipeline report on a customer, I simply type pipeline to be able to pull up that particular report. Again, I enter my customer by customer name or by account number to be able to retrieve all the information that I might need about this particular customer. On the side menu, you see the different options that I've got for different information that I may be interested in looking at right now for the customer. Perhaps I do want to see a list of quotations, sales orders. I can go to my process page to be able to retrieve that information. As with all the dashboards in OBIS, in the web version and in the on-premise version, I have the ability to drill down on any transaction that I see. Here you see I highlight quotations, and the system starts to show me the different type of quotation transactions that I have for this business partner with the actual product information. I highlight the second quotation, it shows me the data that's on there. I have the ability to click and open this product directly from that dashboard if I need to drill down to be able to see that type of detailed information. Any information about the customer, from notes, tasks, service orders, relevant pipeline information, contact information, all should be available to me from my dashboard. Another way that users are able to access the system is through using the ABAS ERP workflow tool. Organizations can map the steps of any process and assign specific work steps to users or user groups so that the right people get notified at the right time in order to keep the flow of work moving. Let's take a quick look at the ABAS workflow tool. This is the designer view. This is where organizations have the ability to go in and create the workflow maps that are going to create the notifications for particular users. Most organizations are already familiar with this concept. We have a particular work step, and then based on a certain condition, is something over a certain dollar amount, is it scheduled to be a work order versus a purchase item, things get routed to a person or to a group of people. Using the ABAS tool, this is exactly how simple it is, for example, to go in and change who a user might be that gets assigned that particular task, what that task should say when that user gets it, and what kind of timestamp and what time frame that particular work step should be completed. One of the things this does is eliminates the need for a lot of customizations in the system. This is a tool that our clients get that allows them to be able to create whatever workflows for sales, purchasing, manufacturing, anything in the organization so that folks get notified. Need a new action in your workflow? Simply drag and drop the tool. Need a new decision point? Simply drag and drop, click on it, and enter the relevant information. With the ABAS tool, there's no need for additional programming. This tool integrates seamlessly with the application itself so that a user who has certain workflow assignments associated with them, when they log in, their interface could be their workflow dashboard. So this is an example of a particular user logging in, and what Lisa is able to do is to be able to see exactly what tasks she has to perform, or what things she has to approve, or some forms that she has to fill out. So by mapping the workflow steps using the ABAS tool that we just saw a few seconds ago, Lisa knows in this example which type of data record she needs to address today. That timestamp was an important piece of information that we had on there. She can see which tasks she's running behind on. For her to complete one of these tasks, simply clicks on it and it'll open up the relevant record, whether that's a sales order or an invoice, or in this case, a particular product that she needs to provide some sourcing information to. By setting this up in the workflow tool, not only will this open up the correct record, it will actually open up the record to the correct fields. In this case, some purchasing information that Lisa needs to apply. This allows Lisa to focus on doing the things that are relevant to her job and not having to hunt and search for the particular type of information. You could also set up a very simple approval step. So Lisa clicks on her approval tab and you can see she has two tasks here. It can be as simple as saying, yes, I approve. And now that particular workflow moves to the next relevant person that's in the process. If it's a minimal amount of data, perhaps no need to open the record at all, selecting a calendar date or checking a box yes or no, or I approve or not, could be as simple as this. By using the ABAS workflow tool, this is how simple working in the system becomes for somebody like Lisa. The workflow tool also comes with an analytics page. This part you guys will need to filter out. The built-in analytics page provides the results to you of all the workflows that you've set up. You could filter by a particular user. Let's use Lisa to see how she's performed on her particular tasks. This eliminates the need to do any type of time studies or further data analysis once you have your processes set up using the ABAS workflow tool. Another interesting tool that the ABAS ERP system has is advanced planning and scheduling. What the advanced planning and scheduling tool allows you to do is graphically visualize the activities that are occurring on your work floor. The system will easily and clearly show you which work centers are bottlenecks now, as well as any time in the future that there may be issues with that particular work area. You can see here as I open up the scheduling board, this particular work center obviously is having issues during these particular time frames. In order to see the amount of work that's scheduled for this work center, I simply click the plus to explode that line out to show me all of the work orders that are creating the bottleneck in that particular time frame. One of the things that the ABAS APS tool allows you to do is reschedule on the fly. I can simply drag and drop one of these work orders to another work center that is set up as a viable alternative. So in this example, you can see I'm moving work from work center 501 to 502. 503 is also an acceptable work center. All the work centers listed below that you see are grayed out are not viable alternatives. So in some cases, being able to drag and drop maybe one or two work orders, I could help alleviate the bottlenecks that are currently in the system. Another feature of the APS tool that we have with ABAS ERP is the ability to run simulations. So while this view is showing me my as-is production floor with the bottlenecks that I've got over my entire scheduling period, the simulation tool allows me to put in potential additional overtime hours or additional manpower in particular work centers and create for me a proposed work schedule that will not exceed capacity in the work centers that I'm simulating. So it can take the exact same amount of work orders with my new capacity or my existing capacity and provide for me a schedule that does not exceed capacity. This is the exact same data that we saw just a few seconds ago with work center 501. However, you can see now that the system has made recommendations on which work orders to shift to those work centers 502 and 503 to alleviate the problems that we're having in work center 501. Another key feature of the ABAS ERP system is mobility. ABAS has mobile applications for CRM, field service, production, inventory, cycle count, point of sale. The ability for users to be able to see data, create records, modify records by using a mobile device is vital in today's business systems. The example you see here is the ABAS CRM app. If I was a sales rep traveling to see a customer, traveling through the airport, perhaps working from home, I should be able to access my customer accounts from my mobile device or access their transactions or be able to see my schedule. All the things that I would be able to do by accessing ABAS on the web version or ABAS on the desktop version, I should be able to do from a mobile device. Here you can see how simple it is for me to search for a customer simply by typing the first few letters of that customer. Here I call up all the information, all the activity, everything that a salesperson would need to know about this particular account on a mobile device. I could go in and review this customer's sales orders, review this customer's quotations, create a new quotation for the customer. All of the things that I would need to be able to do that previously I would need my laptop for, or manually be taking notes to enter this information later on, can do this on the fly directly using the mobile application. Another feature of the ABAS ERP system is the ability to have customer and vendor portals. We're all familiar with this concept in our daily lives. Log into a business entity and be able to see our information, our transactions, our order history 24/7. The ABAS system has a web tool that allows your customers to do exactly that. The information that they see in the transactions that they may be able to create are completely up to you. But here are a couple of standard examples of how our clients use the customer portal. The ability for a customer to log in and perhaps see the status of a sales order or the status of a quotation, perhaps to track a shipment, reprint an invoice, be able to look up product pricing, documentation. This gives your customers 24/7 access to only their transactions to be able to allow them to self-help themselves in some situations.
Great, thank you, Dave. Very nice overview of the application, and thank you, Alan, for your review of Obis in general. A couple of questions for you. A reminder to our audience here to take advantage of our 1 free hour of consulting. Please visit our website, panorama-consulting.com, and you'll be able to navigate there and get your free hour of consulting. Now, and a couple of questions here while we put up Laura Florence's information. Laura Florence is the Director of Business Development within Panorama. She's been on the client delivery side and now on the sales side. So a great resource in Laura, and please reach out to her and contact her for some further information. And Alan, could you go back and touch on some of the scalability within Obis ERP, and maybe an example of smaller clients and your system being able to help facilitate their growth?
Thanks, Chris. That's a great question. Obis typically runs from about 5 concurrent users to about 500 concurrent users, and pretty much everything in between. We have some examples like Computrol, who is a electronics contract manufacturer who started out with Obis maybe 6 years ago with a single site and about 10 users, and now they've got 90 users spread over 3 sites in 2 states. So as their company has grown and they've seen additional requirements, including multi-site capability, we are able to scale with them. Similarly, somebody like Myco, who is one of our international customers, they're actually in 12 countries. They have 450 users, although they started single site with 30 users. They're an industrial machinery producer. But again, the growth of the company, the opportunities they had to grow internationally, we were able to enable them with the multi-company, multi-language, multi-currency functionality.
Thanks, Alan. Those are 2 good examples. Appreciate that. Earlier in the presentation, you had mentioned your different deployment methods. Could you drill down a bit there and speak about the different methods and the benefits to your clients?
Sure. We're very flexible when it comes to deployment. So, the legacy of Obis with most ERP systems was on-prem. So, most customers started out with an on-premise server. They had a thin client. We've always been thin client, but everything was deployed locally. I mean, there's some advantages in that your purchasing is typically a perpetual license. Your hardware investment is upfront a little higher, but then over time typically dwindles a little bit. But now we're finding more and more people who are looking for a pure cloud, where they don't want to have the infrastructure responsibility. Maybe they don't have the talent to manage multiple servers. They don't want to support it, but focus on what their business does best. So we do have pure cloud. Again, advantages there is not just the lower responsibility on the infrastructure, but subscription license pricing, multi-site or multi-location distribution of your users. Anybody can access any data anywhere from a browser and have full access to the system. And finally, what we're finding is mobility has become critically important. So we've built a number of standalone mobile applications. They contain their own business logic. They contain their own databases. They sync with the system whenever you're online or have availability to be online. But the strategy, the intent is to go where the business is. So if you're sitting in front of a customer, you have full sales and CRM capability. If you're sitting on a machine on the shop floor, you can issue material, you can report completion confirmations, we can manage scrap rates. And if field service is another big one, where if we have somebody who's an HVAC manufacturer and they're in the basement of a big office building, they need to be able to see things like bill of material information, service history, customer history, be able to do service, replace parts, and also take photos. And have access to documentation in a disconnected mode, and then later when they're back, above ground, everything syncs up in real time. And finally, any combination. So some people say, hey, in our headquarters, we had an on-premise local solution for our distributed users. We're using web access, and for our some of our field service guys, we use the mobile application.
Great, thank you. Yeah, lots of flexibility there and many different options that are beneficial to clients. So with that, Alan and Dave, thank you very much. We'll wrap up today's web series. Thank you for participating, and to all of our attendees, once again, thank you very much for your attendance, and we'll look forward to talking soon. Thanks again, Alan and Dave. Everybody have a nice day.
Thanks.